Welcome back, Canal Street Dreams. We have another wonderful guest for you, Austin Tedesco, a friend I made on Substack who happens to work at Substack, but also one of our favorite food writers and just has a lot of interesting thoughts about food, culture, bi-coastal living. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm such a fan of yours. And I was so stoked to meet you when I came in for the restaurant pop-up, which I fucking loved.
And that was a lot of fun.
I really appreciate it. It was so much fun. Crazy, it seems.
Yes. It's pretty crazy to do a pop-up restaurant like every single month for 3 to 4 days. Like it does upend our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We added another night now.
Oh, really?
So we're just
When's the next one?
I think it's August 5th through the night. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 6 through the night. She is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize, so you told me after that you were, it makes sense that you're working with the staff here, which makes sense, but like that's crazy to me. To
you should talk about that because
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know that it's just the guys that work at the flower shop back there.
Yeah, because my crew from Bauhaus, since we closed in 2020 in the pandemic, dispersed. One is like a professional rollerblader, Big
Sick.
Chris. Shout out Big Chris. Another dude, like there's a guy that owns Lori Jane now, doing great things. Used to cook at Bauhaus too. He's a chef at Lori Jane. There's another homie from a long time ago, Zach, who runs the kitchen at Freeman's. Like there's Bauhaus cooks everywhere, but I don't have a squad. So when I came here, I assumed the squad here. And Vlad, the chef, kitchen manager here, great guy, incredible. But it is a lot to teach a kitchen a whole new cuisine.
Yeah.
You know, like
and a new pace too, right?
Yeah.
New pace. The pace is crazy because they're usually, a la carte. People come in, they drip in throughout the night and, 3-4 orders at a time. Ours is like 7 o'clock, 37 orders.
And now people are coming early. Do you
Yes.
notice that? Like the last dinner, people started coming at like 6:30. They're like,
Yeah.
I'm just here early. And I was like, I don't think he's even taught them how to make the dish yet.
Yeah.
Like, on like the
That was
first
good. So
night,
I mean,
was
again,
like,
when I cooked for a year, we did a few pop-ups and it was always, we would do brunch first on a Sunday. It was always Sunday. So we'd do the brunch service. You'd get to we opened at 5. It'd be 5:20 and no one's fired the dish.
Yeah.
No one's fired the dish
Yeah.
once. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
No, ours is, and it sounds insane that Natasha's like, he hasn't taught them to dish yet, but it's true.
Yes.
Every night we get a new cook that comes in at 3 o'clock from another restaurant, Little Ways, that they also own in the group.
Yeah.
And this group is phenomenal restaurant group. Dylan, the owner, Dave, everybody's awesome here, but everyone's like pooling the resources to make the dinners happen. So a guy will come in at 3, we'll get his mise set up, we'll show him how everything's fired. And around 6 o'clock, he gets to see how his dishes are fired.
Yeah.
So he has an hour to figure it out and then boom. But the beautiful thing is it's been working. Like the
Food
reviews
was
are
fucking great, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was really fucking good. It was funny on that point. I went to the Thomas Perry Bridges pop-up last week and I was talking to my friends who work there. One of my friends does front of house there and she was like, they put up every dish at 3 p.m. They were on their shit. They were they had it ready. We got to taste everything. And I was like, oh, the Brits do it different.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that. We did a tasting for the first month in June. June was our first month.
we did June. We did a tasting.
Yes. But then the thing is that since our staff revolves literally every night, we were like, wait, we can't do a tasting every single night. So it's just the one person who comes in every night that is different. That person gets an orientation.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we go from there.
I just think people don't realize when they sit down to eat, right? I'm sure most people who sit down to eat, even if they're like, oh, it's a pop-up, they're like, you've made that dish. The person cooking it has made that dish 12 times. They seasoned it perfectly. They have no idea.
The expectation is I paid this money and this should be a perfect restaurant experience. And I actually think that is correct.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I got to hit that standard, which we have. Luckily we have by breaking our backs, but the level of difficulty on a pop-up is completely insane.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's
But I
nuts.
think that's kind of, is it fun for you to have that challenge every night versus you're just in your restaurant with your crew, with your guys? Things go off without a hitch. Is it more exciting for you back there?
I cannot lie. I think I do everything this way. Our wedding was all right, getting married next week.
Their fake
Was that
wedding.
fun for you?
I mean, I didn't. I ran away.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went to go high. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
But I think the next one will be, we'll do it like the Brits.
I
yeah.
enjoy a restaurant. Like I enjoyed Bauhaus just being so locked in for so many years. And like when we ran a new dish at Bauhaus, it was so easy because same cooks for many, many, many years. And we knew everything. But I will say I got bored.
Totally.
I got
Yeah.
bored going into the restaurant. I started going in less and less around like the 6th or 7th year. Like around 2015, I think I just started to lose interest, honestly. And it was locked in. Those were the best years we ever had. But I wanted a challenge. I wanted to be creative. And this is definitely feeding that muscle.
I mean, that's why you people get into this field because they can't do anything else. It's the same thing, I think, for your creative stuff in film and writing too, right? And it's like the field doesn't attract people who are like, let me come in and do the same thing every day. It's like, I got to be challenged. It's got to feel a little insane or I'm going to lose it. I'm going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people come to food and restaurants after like being addicts or being convicts or like just not fitting in anywhere, you know? And it does feed that type of person with that type of background.
I didn't know until I started working in kitchens that there are like experts who are like, I help you open. Like I'm here, I'm a friend, I'm an expert. I'm here for like 8 weeks max. I help develop the menu. I help get your system done. And then I move on to the next place because all I need is that rush. And I was like, that's cool. I was like, if I had any level of skill, I would do that myself too. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny is too, I think writing and the restaurants, kitchens attract the same type of like moldy person.
Yeah.
You know, and you know how like mold needs an environment to grow?
Yeah.
I think writers and like cooks, there's just like an attraction to the kitchen. Like tons of writers just like hang out at restaurants. I know writers used to just park their ass at Bauhaus every day and like write their novels or write their books. And like, how did you come to it?
How did I come to cooking?
Yeah, cooking and writing and stuff.
I still don't really think of myself as a writer. Like the Substack project started as like a bit for me to learn the product as someone who works there, and then I started to really like it.
It's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I really like your writing.
I appreciate that. I got into cooking because I, like you, get bored super easily, and I lost my mind when I was like 29. I moved from LA to New York and I was just like, I'm gonna do this. I was working for a tech company that kind of like didn't pay attention to what I was doing. Like I could work like 5 hours a week and they were like, great job. And so I emailed all my favorite restaurants and was like, I want to work here. And it like set me down that path. And I did it for a year for like 60 hours a week. It was like, I tell people it's like getting paid to go to culinary school.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's 60 hours that's tough. That's tough. I mean, normal, but tough. Where were you working?
The first time I ever cooked in a kitchen was a Friday night at Estella. They were like, come in for a trail.
Oh, with Ignacio.
Yeah, with Ignacio. I went in. I mean, it's the kind of thing like I emailed the dudes at Wild Air, the dudes at Hearts. I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I want to work at a place I actually like.
Yeah.
And they emailed me back to come in at Estella at like, they're like, come in at 3 for a trail. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like a fucking remote tech worker. I'm like Googling like, what is a trail? What do chefs wear?
I've
only ever like cooked from cookbooks. And I have this kind of like maniacal competitive energy that's like, I'll figure it out. I'll try it. I did some prep, we did family meal. I'm like watching. And then I think someone had called out that night last minute. So they usually on a Friday night at Estella, they have 2 people on the cold side. They only had like 1 person working. And someone looks at me, they had showed me how to plate that endive salad. And someone looks at me and they were like, can you do 4 endive salads? And I did them. The sous chef tasted it and he was like, that's great. And he sent it out. And I was like, fuck, that's like that's a $28 salad. That's like one of the best dishes in New York.
Yeah.
Some doofus in the dining room is definitely having it for the first time. And they don't know that I made it.
They send a lot out from the cold side too. Does that uni dish come out the cold side?
Yeah. The tuna right now, the steak tartare, oysters. I think one of the biggest rushes I've ever had in my life was they got slammed on oysters. I've shucked oysters for most of my life. Like I feel confident that I can shuck oysters, but they asked me if I could. And I was like, of course I'm stammering. I'm like, I don't know if I can do like, I don't know if I'll do like you do it, but I can like open an oyster. And they're like, go for it. And I like fucking perfectly pop one. And I like put it on there. It feels really good. And I'm like, oh, I'm good at this. And then the rest of the night,
then you stabbed yourself in
and
the
then the rest of
thumb.
the night, I didn't get one right. Every single one, I either like stabbed myself or I fucked it up. And they were like, this dude doesn't do oysters anymore.
Yeah.
Salads for you, bro.
Oysters is
endive salad,
fucking
man.
tough, man.
Crazy.
You need 10,000 hours.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say,
Oh,
yeah.
totally.
Why were you shucking oysters most of your life, by the way?
Oh, just for fun. Just like I lived in New England.
Look
for
at his
a while.
jacket. He shucks oysters.
Well, no, I'm asking because I'm like, where in New England did you live?
I'm Austin from Austin, unfortunately.
Austin
for me.
from Boston or Austin?
Austin from Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And then I moved to New England for college. I went to school at Boston College.
Okay, cool. So you're just shucking oysters.
And then stuck around for a bit. Big fan of like the Island Creek guys, and would just like when I was teaching myself how to cook, that was a thing I wanted to learn.
Oh, I love
how
that.
to do.
Funny enough, we were in Boston in the North Shore for the last 2 weeks, and because you were going to be on the show, and we've like recent friends, I did see the name Tedesco like everywhere.
Oh, there's the
in
Tedeschi
Boston.
Yes.
convenience store.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the Italian name for German. Those are my guys. Yeah.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like Tedesco. I was like,
Isn't it
man,
like a
maybe
gas
he's from
station
here.
too?
Yeah, I think.
around
Oh,
there,
yeah. There's like
Tedesco.
Tedeschi.
It's like
There's the
yeah.
Tedeschi Trucks band. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. So yeah, I did that. I did the Estella thing, and then I think I was only supposed to stay for a bit, but they like let me stay all night. It was the most fun I'd ever had. I talked to the person, the chef running the kitchen at the time. He offered me a job as a line cook, and then understandably they ghosted me. I was like, "Hey, I'm ready to start," and they like never responded. I think because they found anyone more qualified than me. But I got hooked, and so then I ended up at Cool World, one of the worst named restaurants of all time, with Q, who I'm sure you know. And I stayed there for a year, and it was like my fucking home. It was the best.
I love that.
Word.
Yeah.
Are they still open? I think they.
No. I basically was there for the 1 year run. It's now the Brooklyn Outpost of Ray's.
That's right.
And Q is at Demo, and they're like, it's weird. Like I did it for a year, and there's a lot of them are still like feel like my closest friends because I was like, oh no, especially as like a remote tech worker, it's like nothing bonds you with like being in a kitchen with people.
Yeah, I remember when Cool World came out, and it was a new genre of restaurant, I would say. Like the name, the brand, not the food necessarily, but the way it was presented, like almost like a retail. It looked like retail, kind of.
Green River Project like put it together. The Bodie, the River crew, in terms of the design. I just think when you have that name, you're doomed from the start. Honestly, I think of it with Substack too. Like there's a word of mouth value in the name. You have to be able to say. It's like, Feed Me is really good because Emily Sundberg is really good, but it helps to be like, you got to read Feed Me. You got to, same thing for like, you got to go to Haas, you got to go to Penny, you got to go to Cool World, like sucks. Like you're fucked from the start.
Yeah, you are.
Unfortunately, there's something so attractive to it to me. I'm like, I want to go to Cool World.
You want to go to Cool
I
World?
want to go to Cool World right now. I want to live in Cool World.
You want drinks and fries at Cool
actually.
World? Yeah.
I just
do.
related.
But also like you didn't come. So, I mean.
I missed that era of New York. I was not in town for Cool World, but I just related it to that movie with Brad Pitt and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
I'm from that era.
I don't know if it was that or if it was something else. I didn't ask. But
Yeah, but no, it's just when you say you're cool, you're kind of fucked. Everyone
totally fucked.
wants to be like, well, fuck you.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I would tell people for the year, like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I can say I'm a cook now. I don't have to say that I do like product marketing for a tech company. I was like, I'm a cook.
Cool World.
And they're like, where? And I was like, in Brooklyn. And they're like, where? And I was like, Greenpoint.
They're like, no, where?
And I was like, cool world. Like, yeah, nah, but I mean, it was
The CW.
The CW, that actually might have been better. I don't know. So I did that, and I did the thing that I didn't know how any of this worked, but I did the thing where I was like, okay, I start off on the cold station, I get good enough at that, or they get desperate enough that they let me run the fryer, and then they let me run plancha, and then eventually working saute in the middle of service. Like the most fun I've ever had. I told the people at Substack, I was like, this is my number 2 favorite job. Cooking number 1.
It was a very, they had challenging food at Cool World. Like just from looking at it from the internet, I was like, oh, it's like very chef driven. You're very going for it.
Yeah.
And I think there's that like style of restaurant now. The ones that you chose, Estella, Wild Air, what was the third
Like
one?
the
you said?
Hearts, Cerebos.
Hearts, yeah,
group.
yeah. Nick Perkins' group.
Yeah.
Those are truly chef-driven restaurants.
Yeah.
Like those people are challenging themselves every single night, grinding it out. Like we love Eel Bar. We mention it all the time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool
I went last
world.
week after you wrote about it. It was great.
Word, yeah, incredible. But do you feel like in the restaurant culture now, there are a lot of these like bigger money restaurants that, you know, they have the trappings and like the clothes or the outfit of a chef-driven restaurant, but they're not pushing themselves in that way?
Yeah, because it's the right business decision, right? Like I wrote about this the other week. Like if I were opening a restaurant with my own money, one, I would never do it. I'd be like doomed for failure. You're gonna run stuff in the ground. If I was gonna do it, it's like, okay, martinis, burgers, fries, the things that are gonna work. Like basically like the Houston's model is what makes money. And then it's like, how do you navigate showing that you have a POV, that it will be a kind of draw? Because doing something like I think I went last weekend. I think Hags is one of the most like underrated restaurants in the city. I think Telly and Camille are fucking stars, and they have challenging food, a really interesting point of view. And I think for that reason, it's like it's not a destination. People don't talk about it. I think they do well in their community, but when you operate that way, you lower your ceiling on revenue in a space where the margins are fucking tiny. It makes no sense from a business perspective.
Yeah, I do agree with you. The most popular genre of restaurant now is the fake chef-driven Houstons.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we talk about this all the time. It's like mediocrity is often more rewarded. Like
Yeah.
if you're just in that soft spot of like, this is cool for everybody and it's not that challenging, you're going to win.
You're gonna win, and I think it's really interesting in food as opposed to like film, right? We're in food because the margins are so tight. It's so much harder to take a sort of risk than in a different industry where like it's still very tough in film to take a risk, but the risk reward at least has like a greater chance of exceeding that. Like, you know, it's not like indie film is in an incredible state, but I think people can do more. There's like backers like A24 and Neon that help you do more there. But in food, it's just like there's like, why would you do it this way? Why would you in New York? Why would you do it this way? I think we're experiencing this in LA, where it's so hard to open a small business at all, especially a restaurant, that like the list of actually interesting chef-driven restaurants in LA that are good and thriving in the past 6 months is like Baby Bistro, which I love, and that's maybe it.
Yeah. It's really there's not much out there.
Yeah.
Like without talking any shit, there's just not much out there.
The system doesn't allow there to be, I think, in a lot of ways, more than anything.
Yeah. Because usually in a neighborhood in LA, you don't have that critical mass of people that is that into food in this like neurotic kind of spectrum-y way that we're into food. You get people like Phil Rosenthal type shit. You know what I mean? Not to like bash homie,
Talk your
but
shit.
like, feed me Phil type of foodies that are like, oh my God, they got bagels here. You know, like,
It's like cafe dialogue.
So
and they're like,
on that,
it's incredible.
On that point,
sourdough bagel.
We were talking about this. I went to Haas for the first time on Wednesday. I thought the food was fucking amazing. It was like every dish A minus at worst.
Absolutely.
Every single dish. I was like incredible. And we did the thing where like I had some time off at work, so we got there like 5:15. We sat right at 5:30. We probably left like right before 7:30. And I was like, this was one of the most sterile dinners I've ever had.
Thank you. Can I talk my
Talk your shit and then I'll finish my point.
When you came for the dinner, I was just like, I bring big hater energy. There is not one authentic piece of Haas in that environment. The food is great. Everything else is cosplay. It's a costume. It's an outfit that you can try on and put on, and it sucks to dine there.
And my thing is that I don't think it's them. I think it's the kind of thing you're describing where it's like, okay, and this is not to like, it's not to shit on the publication, but it's like infatuation New York Times list culture to me that fills the room in a way that people are like, I'm box checking for Instagram. I'm here to say I was here. I'm throwing out the food so I can post about it. And the thing that I felt the most, and again, I went there once. I don't know those people, but I have a ton of respect for the people who run that place.
Yeah.
They have this, there's a thing that I think you've seen before with friends whose spots like get in this moment. They're like bracing. They're like shell shocked. They're like, I know the people who are going to show up are going to be assholes. I know they're going to like ask for mods we won't do. And they're like, because they're just trying to survive and because the crowd is a little torched, if you're in there, you're like, you can't stay for 3 hours and you never would want to.
No.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to.
No, and that's the thing is like there was a guy and the crowd there, it's like HQ for Normans, right? There was a really great article by this guy Clive like a couple weeks ago that was like the new unlocked character of this generation is Normans, which is like anthropomorphic t-shirts and like, you know, big sandwiches, like that crowd with like the kind of like limited tote bag guy, like
performative literature. Like I'm reading a book at Haas.
Someone was writing a book at Haas next to us,
like in calligraphy.
So, and I think it's like,
but that's not the fault of the restaurateur. I gotta say,
100%. And that's the thing I was feeling. I was
Anthony.
like, everyone here they've done it. They did everything they should have done perfectly right. The space is like right. It's well designed. I can tell everyone there is like front and back of house a fucking pro.
Yeah.
And there's times I saw this happen. I was thinking of like other comps for this. And I remember when like Found Oyster was the hottest place in LA. Yeah. And I could see them just like holding on for dear life to try to preserve some magic when it's just like packed out there and everyone doesn't know how to behave.
Yeah. Do you think it's that I guess the clientele that comes in that like sucks the life out of a place in a way and like sucks the magic
in this,
out?
especially for this kind of thing that's like, oh, it's the hottest place imaginable. It's number 6 on the New York Times list. Everyone says I have to go.
Yeah.
There's like what I associate it also with more like belly culture of like, I got my list. I'm gonna check it off.
Yeah.
That like you get overwhelmed by that in the environment that there's like, probably I think nothing you can do unless you just want to just like reserve half the tables for your friends. Like I don't know what else to do.
No, totally.
How do you facilitate regulars? Was trying very hard. There was people with like Ellen DeGeneres t-shirt. I was just like, everything is very, very intentional.
Yeah.
Here, like everyone had like their best vintage t-shirt on.
Yes.
I was fucking crying, but like, I can't hate because like I look at homie and I'm just like, we could be brothers. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's going Jade, he's going Rolex Date Just. I'm just like
definitely giving.
I would never argue that I'm anything more than like a 5% adjustment from whatever you're describing, if at all, right?
Yeah.
But it's a different vibe than what you feel at places, and I've written about this before. Like I very openly, if I'm like looking at how much I like a place, it's like 40% vibe experience, 35% food.
I agree.
Yeah.
If I go, especially a place like Haas, I will say respect to them. The food is incredible. What they're doing is incredible. My thing is if I ever came back, I'd sit outside. I don't want to go inside.
Yeah.
And for me, if I'm going to go to dinner, especially at a place where like I have to pull up before it opens and wait in line, which is cool, I want to sit there and I want to feel good. I want to feel the restaurant. I want to feel like I'm in an environment that is feeding me in a way that also the food is feeding me. I didn't feel that there, and that's just my take. But
I don't spend more than $100 a person to eat outside. That's another hard and fast rule of mine. I can't do it. It feels like you're getting like the thing that drives me the most nuts is when people say they like had a great dinner at Lilia and they ate in that little triangle. And I'm like, bro, you got delivery to a parking lot. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I will say that the what I really admire about Haas is the skill level.
It's crazy.
Like the level of difficulty of what Anthony and his wife are doing there is insane to cook out of there. Like that pork chop they fire, I was like, yo, are you firing that out of the oven? He's like, yeah, we like, par grill it, par sear it for service, and then we gotta like fire it out of the oven. He's just has it dialed and he's changing the menu, and I'm very impressed by the skill level. But culturally, there were things that like as an older gentleman in restaurant culture, I've seen. Like I heard the Twin Peaks theme song. I wouldn't play the Twin Peaks theme song in a dining room because that was Danny Boween's song. Do you know what I mean? Danny Boween used to play that in the bathroom on a loop at Mission Chinese. I'm like, that's somebody else's song.
Yeah.
In a way, I'm weird. I'm weird like that, right? It'd be like, I think it was like Chang had a photo of Andre Agassi in his bathroom for a while. I wouldn't touch it, right?
Nothing's crazier to me than people opening a restaurant and hiring consultants to run the playlist. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, why'd you open a restaurant?
Yeah, and
That's,
it's
to
like,
me, that's like so much of the appeal. You curate the vibe.
yeah, and the
100%.
curation of it and the cookbooks, it's just like I've seen this restaurant before. That was the only thing that annoyed me. I was like, you're cooking phenomenal, unstoppable, highest level of difficulty, I think, in a kitchen in New York now.
Totally agree. And
Like-
I to me, like anything I felt in the issue was like they've been overcome by the food culture in New York, by the media culture in New York.
It's too much in their head. Like you can see they're aware, and like you can see they've consumed.
Yeah, like I like the hostess came out to start like checking people in to be like who's gonna get a table, and I was like, oh, you're ready for battle. You're like you're approaching this of like you're looking at me like you better not fuck around. Like you're here to eat and leave. And she didn't say that, but I was like, I can tell that you've been so like my read was like people don't know how to behave here. You're acting like people don't know how to behave here because they don't.
Yeah.
And that's like you feel that when you're there.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like people checking off checklists of like identity, aesthetic, experience. I am excited to see what their next restaurant is like because they're
Me too.
opening a new one, and I'm like, would love to see your voice.
Yeah.
You know, like in the aesthetic of the room.
Totally.
And because that's a part of being a chef.
Yeah.
It's like, what's in
Huge
your
part.
head?
Huge part.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's the part that's missing for me, but I am excited.
Yeah. Then
But-
on the flip side, another restaurant all three of us have been to, Penny, I think actually is pumping out the best seafood in the city.
No question.
Yeah.
To me.
And no
No
question, best seafood, best dishes, like very imaginative. But in this funny way, if they would just play the music that's in the bathroom, the hardcore, in
Honestly,
the
if
You have
dining
a
would
lot
room,
to say about this place.
I literally talked all my shit to him already, but if they just put blue lighting and played the bathroom like metal in
Yeah.
the whole restaurant, it would make so much more sense and it would just be a more enjoyable experience.
I have no notes on Penny. I'm all the way in the bag for Penny. I guess I think there's
Even
a thing
the dining room.
Yeah, because I think there's a thing I associate with it that's like, oh, they've taken every B- New England oyster bar that has basically that same design, that like railroad design, and they've just made it an A+. It's like a play on a thing I know. And I also, from like we talked about this, the staff and both the front and back of house staff, when they interact with you,
They're the coolest people there.
Coolest people in the world.
the best
Yeah.
cooks.
The best cooks,
I
and they're
love the
so
cooks at
chill.
Penny.
They'll make you feel so special when you're there.
Yeah.
They're like, we're just gonna hang out. They're like, if you want to order 3 seafood towers for the next 4 hours, we got you.
Yeah,
just
and
the
I truly
vibe.
like watching them work.
Yeah.
I told
Yeah,
her
yeah,
after,
yeah.
I was like, yo, this is White Boy Skater Omakase.
Hell yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
these
yeah,
are
yeah.
the homies you chill with in Tompkins
Only
Square
you
Park.
would stuff a squid like this, my
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I love their cooks. The best food, my best food meal in the city, Penny. But I became friends with one of the investors there, and he was telling me the chef's music is in the bathroom and the manager music is in the.
Okay.
And I was like, that makes
Let
sense.
the
I was like,
chef
let the chef
fly.
cook.
Let
Yeah.
him cook.
Yeah, put the manager
It's so
shit in the
good.
bathroom.
I love the bathroom.
Yeah.
I would just sit in the bathroom. Bring the seafood tower to the bathroom,
Bring
please.
me, bring me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I will say the salad is crazy. Like it's just like a salad, cheese, and dressing. One of the best salads in New
The
York.
tuna carpaccio was my
It's
favorite.
all we got. Yeah.
I was
So
like, I
good.
could have had like 4 of those.
Yeah.
Just
And then-
sitting.
And then we were talking about LA. The other thing about LA that even I feel is like the whole appeal of LA is that everything's easy and there's nothing to do. Like there's not, and it's also like if you are even moderately okay at cooking, you're like, why the hell would I go out? And it makes it like I know y'all spend a lot of time there. It's a very weird dining out restaurant moment right now for that reason.
It's very odd. The restaurants in LA I liked was if we drove to another neighborhood for immigrant food, Glendale,
Always.
Persian food, Chinese food, SGV, Mexican food, Inglewood, things like that. Or like old establishment restaurants that are tried and true, like Michael's of Santa Monica,
Yeah.
with like, they have 3 original Egan Shields in there. It's just like,
Yeah. Dear John's, Musso's.
yeah, we would do those. The newer generation, if you're from New York or you travel around the world, those ideas are so tired.
Yeah.
in
Yeah, I mean,
LA.
they just like got a Cipriani. I was like, why does LA need a Cipriani? Like, I was like, this is great because it's like actually a restaurant I want to eat at. But why the fuck do we need one in LA?
We don't. I think
know?
the thing I mostly write about, and I think the thing I know that I like more than anything is that like, oh, this is like a special dinner dining out experience that for all these places we've been like describing in New York. And I do think, I think you've said this on the pod too. It's like in LA, when it comes to what you're describing, like lunch or like I'm gonna go drive somewhere and like just eat the food. LA is very tough to beat for any city in the world for a bunch of different cuisines. And when it's like, I want to have a dinner with 4 friends for my birthday, it's like, get the fuck out of town. Like,
Where do you go?
yeah.
Like, where do you go?
I feel
Truly.
for any art, whether you're a fine artist, a writer, a director, chef in LA, there is just an immense pressure to conform.
Yeah.
Because most people that have money in that city are trying to hit the algorithm or hit the matrix to scale something.
Yes.
That is what their brains are rewarded for in that city. So art does not thrive there. Like just moving back like 6 months ago, we talk about it all the time. I feel human again because people aren't like, oh, but half of America won't understand what you just said. I was like, I don't need half of America. I just need a 5-block radius around this restaurant to
Hell
understand.
yeah. There's the other things I feel that are happening in LA are like one, no one drinks. So margins are fucked from the start. Larger Ozempic culture, I think. So like the
That's true.
diet, like just the propensity to dine out is like a little less. And then the 2 best, like, I can't believe how good this is, sit down dinner restaurants in LA, I think undeniably are Cato and Baru. And they're 2 tasting menus that don't change over that much. It's like, how often are you gonna go?
Yeah. And I think the other thing about LA that just kills dining and friendship culture generally is that friends are looked at in strategic accessory ways. Like who you are friends with is part of your career in LA, which to me was insane to realize people thought that way.
Yeah.
And you sit down, if you're in a bar and you start to talk to people randomly, people think you're weird. And they're like, wait, what do you do? Because I need to make sure we have
Depends on where you are. I feel like I've only ever experienced
East
LA.
Side is cool.
I was like, I've only ever experienced LA as someone who's not in the Hollywood industry. It's like, okay, I have friends who just do whatever, or they're in food. And when you're not in that cycle, like I'm sure it's impossible for you to avoid. It's like, oh, the whole appeal of this place is like happiness and apathy. It's the best. Like,
I
it's
totally
like that
got
shit really
that
works.
before I was in a relationship with him. The LA that I experienced was so different and I liked it. And then I moved and we were together and I was like, this place sucks.
Yeah,
like,
that'll kill you.
I was like, this is the worst.
I love living in Mid-City. Like Mid-City was my happy time in LA. And you know, when I was hanging out more in Silver Lake, Los Feliz with the homies, because I live downtown, that was nice. But man, going west, it's rough out there.
I don't go west of Western if I can help it.
Bro, it's
only
bad.
if I have a meeting.
That was our biggest
only
mistake.
I mean, it was beautiful and it was like really relaxing most of the time, but there was just solitude. Like there was no, you could
I'm there for life. Like it feels like home to me because I have this setup that
Where
I have.
do you live out there?
And technically in Frogtown, like right
word.
behind
Cool. I like
Echo Park,
Frogtown.
like behind Dodger Stadium. Like accessibility to all of the places you're mentioning.
cool.
Sometimes I still
There's
go
a
to
lot
like
of like restaurants popping up in Frogtown now, right? Like a
there
lot of Mexican
are,
spots.
I cook like 90% of my meals in
That
LA.
is the
That's
positive in
whole
LA.
appeal.
Yeah.
It's also
You
like
get a kitchen.
the biggest appeal of LA to me is like, okay, it's Sunday. I'm gonna go to 6 markets and like 3 grocery stores, and this is like my whole activity for the day in the car in a way that you can't do here.
Yeah.
I cooked so much in LA at home.
Yeah, every day. I feel we cooked something every day, one meal at least.
Yeah, so much. It was just really nice to be able to eat exactly what you wanted.
Yeah.
With the
all
best
the time.
ingredients, and and you
Here-
actually have space and you have a nice kitchen to cook in.
But here you get dining culture.
Yeah.
You get to be outside and you get to talk to a random person on a stool and you catch the vibe here. So I do really, we talked about it with Jay Lee too, is just like dining culture here is superior. I love London too. London is fantastic to go to.
Yeah, I when I have eaten out in London, the thing I feel also is like, oh, every cook back there is better than every cook at the restaurants I'm in America. It's like just so much more dialed in. I have a thing that I typically avoid ordering entrees because I'm like, you start eating it and you're like, I could have roasted this chicken at home. Are you kidding me? And they get really creative about entrees in London. They execute really well. I'm fully on board with that.
I will say I only worked in one kitchen in London and I'm only back in one kitchen in New York. But just comparing those two kitchens, the intensity of the cooks in London was so much higher, and the acceptability to be like, you fucked that up, fix it. You're able to do in London. In New York right now, in this one kitchen I work in, I even with cooks not from America, I have to be very gentle. Hey,
what makes you feel that way? That you can't be direct in the feedback?
Because the first night I was here, we had a dish that the sauce needed to be dotted on the lobster.
Yeah.
Right? And the guy was doing the squiggly sauce on a plate. And I was like, dot, and he kept going squiggly. I was like, no, refire, dot. And he kept doing it like this. And I was like, dot it. And I yelled. I was like, dot, because it was the second time he'd fired the dish. And he was going to Jackson Pollock it again. And the cook next to him was like, hey, Chino. They call me Chino. I don't go by chef. I go by Chino. It was Chino, no yell. And I was like, but he's fucked this dish up twice. They're like, okay, you just say, and we do it right. I'm like, but I did just say.
But you don't.
And you did it wrong again. So we had to fire it a third time. And then they were like, see, we got it. And I was like, that standard is just not okay with me.
I don't have the volume of experience in the industry that you do. But the thing actually that I loved the most about working in a kitchen after coming from corporate America was it was the thing I appreciated in the kitchen I worked in, literally never personal. It was never like, oh, you little bitch. Or something. It was just like, it's wrong, fix it. It's wrong, fire it again. And it's like, you're going to fail. Your station is going down. You're going to fail. It's going to be on you. You're going to let everyone that's in here down. And we're going to be really direct. And I was like, oh, no, I've worked in corporate America my whole career. No one's ever been direct to me. Everyone's always been like, oh, we would love if you focused on these improvement areas maybe.
Bro, and also because they're used to like, a few tickets at a time.
Yeah.
I would say to each station, don't look at the tickets. You're firing 5 shrimp. You're firing 3 scallops.
You're in control.
I'm in control. Yeah. I got it. And they're like, no, Chino, we only do 3 tables at a time. I was like, you have 17 tables all in right now. You got to listen to me. Go. And the shrimp, the prawn on the grill takes the longest.
Yeah.
It's fired on Binchotan charcoal. That dish takes probably 6 minutes to fire. I was like, 5 orders go because I see them on all these tickets.
Yeah, you see the whole board.
And homie was like, no, it's on this 3. There's only 1 order. And I was like, brother, if you don't fire 5 shrimp right now, you're going to kill yourself. It's not even me.
Right.
You are going to die.
Well, that's what I meant when I was like, oh, this is understandable but crazy that you're kind of like inheriting a kitchen, because the thing that you can't do when you do that is you can't be like, this is my kitchen. I'm establishing a standard, and the standard is that like I'm running Expo. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
You listen, right? You just got to. They have like, no, we do it this way.
But and my dad always taught me adopt local culture
totally.
wherever you're at.
Yeah, and that's your only way to survive.
Only way to survive, and it has taught me something I watched Natasha learn for the last 2 years as a mother. She doesn't yell at our son. Never, right? If she yells into the wall, like away from him. And it's like, but it's not
it's
at
very
him.
much.
It's not at him. And because the culture here is to just like kind of cruise and be cool with stuff, I have had to just be like I'm a
So what do you do? How do you handle it?
What I did was I came up with an amuse-bouche watermelon salad. So when they are not firing at the pace I want to fire, I send out a watermelon salad to the table because I'm like, okay, once we get to the mains, we're good. It's when people are in a restaurant, they want to put something in their bodies within the first 15 minutes. I think that is realistic. You're going to get your drink within 5 to 7 minutes, and you should have food in your body within 15. So when I see them stuck on like the starter first course on the first 7 to 10 tables, I fire the amuse-bouche to the other 7 tables that are waiting. So then I'm in contact with you. The chef knows you're here. I'm feeding you. And that has helped me get through it.
Okay. So how do you handle it as a father? That's what I'm curious about.
Oh, as a father?
Yeah.
So with my son, when he's like screaming in my face, I will just like look at him and have the same monotone. No.
Does that work?
No.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
how you're supposed to handle. Well, I don't know. With everything that I've read, the most effective way to handle a tantrum is to almost like Great Rock. You're just like, okay. And then when they're done, it's like, are you done? Anyways, let's go. Like then they learn there's no reaction.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. And that's like how I handle everything in life now. If somebody's like doing something crazy, I'm just like, I'm going to let you do that. And then we'll be done. And then we can move on.
And as a father, your son kind of responds to you physically, like a bit more than at least our son, I will say. So when it gets extremely bad and he's yelling
beats the shit out of me.
super loud. Yeah, he beats the shit out of you. When he's super, super loud, I will just forehead to forehead and I'm just like, brother, no,
Yeah.
no. And it's like by osmosis, we are going to do this together.
Cool.
You know what's cool though? I will say the more words he's able to say and like sentences he's able to string along, the less he does that. I think it's a frustration thing for a lot of kids. It's like if they don't have the words to say. And I also think that this could be applicable to like in the kitchen or in the corporate world. I feel like when people can't say the thing that they want to say directly, that's the frustrating part. And that's why like the kitchen stuff is no, don't yell. And it's like, no, I'm going to yell at you. But like now that you can say what you want to say, it goes smoother. Like
People have,
And
I mean,
dotting it, he didn't understand what is language.
yeah, he was like, I
yeah,
don't
it's
know
like,
what dotting it is.
I think that's true. It's when you don't know what to do,
start flailing.
You're going to start flailing. And also, I mean, this is true in any kind of like human interaction relationship, especially now. Being direct with people is really hard. Like looking someone in the eye and being like, this is like exactly what I think and exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Hard at work, hard in relationships. It's really tough.
It's so liberating.
Yeah.
I think that's
Oh,
what
it feels fucking good
I
when you
feel like
start
people
doing
just
it.
need to do it for the first time. Like it's just a thing in your head. And it's like, once you do it, then you're like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it this way at work. It's like I spend 90% of my day in like Slack and Claude. And then I need to get on a call and I'll be like really direct on a call. And it's like it's like code switching yourself
For sure.
across different work meetings over and over again.
Yeah, there is a lot of code switching. If you worked as long in a kitchen as you did or I did, and it's just like going to a corporate setting is so different.
Crazy.
You have to talk in circles
Yeah.
and around, and you can't just be like, fire 3 shrimp, you know? But talk to us. So you have this job at Substack. What is the job? And then how did it become this experiment writing about food?
Yeah, so I'm our head of business development at Substack. I started overseeing sports. I worked at ESPN for 6 years covering the NBA. And so they brought me in. I know, we got a lot in common, my man.
So horny.
Dream job.
Out of respect for you, we're not going
I
to talk
started
about
at ESPN in 2015, which was perfect because I feel very strongly that the last good NBA season was 2016. Like the peak, that's KD's last year on the Thunder. That's the Klay Thompson game 6. That's right before the free agency. We can get into all that. But so anyway, so
People would argue a lot about 2016, last good year in general.
Yeah. Oh, so many reasons why. But I was brought into overseas sports, and then I quickly kind of started doing more in podcasting and video as we were pushing that way. And then my job became a bit of like, let me help crack the things we haven't done before, like the app and video and podcasting. And so I kind of just help out across a bunch of different teams internally and with creators and external partners from the perspective of like, how do we build the Substack app to be a place where you can grow and run a subscription business you own, no matter what form of media you want to operate in, whether it's video. Me and my colleague Catherine were the people helping Jim Acosta launch on Substack when he left CNN. He now has a live video show he runs every day in the app. Wow. That was a thing that like had never been done before, and it's huge. So I focus on that through a bunch of different things. It's a crazy time to be there, and you're crushing it. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you. Yeah, we would love business development advice. And,
totally.
Feel free to troubleshoot our Substack on the
I'm
show.
also like the resident tech dork for a lot of stuff. It's like, how do I migrate my RSS feed here? It's like I grew up as an only child, like spending a lot of time on computers, so I do that too.
I love that.
Yeah, she also only child from New England.
Hell yeah.
But that's fly. I thought you were just like it said you worked at Substack, but I was like, maybe it's like in culture because I just read the food stuff.
Yeah, the food stuff was like, again, I started it mostly to be like, actually nothing has been more helpful for helping me learn the product than using it every day,
Right.
than being like, hey, y'all, like going to the engineering team, be like, y'all sent me this notification about how much money I made. And it like, I don't think it's right. Like, I think we need to tweak it a bit. So that's
Yeah.
helpful. That's fun. Also, it's like, you understand the creator experience a lot better. But yeah, no, I mean, I probably spend 80 hours a week working on building things at Substack, whether it's in internal teams, external relationships. I'd like in New York, I've been here, like I meet with agents and managers and creators and a bunch of stuff like that.
Yo, that's
Oh,
incredible.
yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you? I know Substack just got like this big investment.
Yeah.
What do you think is like on the horizon for Substack?
Yeah, so we just announced a Series C round, which is really exciting. Rich Paul is now an investor.
Shout
in the
out Rich
company.
Paul.
Shout out
Yeah,
Rich.
your guy, Rich. I think the thing it allows us to do more than anything is think long term. Is think like since I've been at Substack, we have just been sprinting at the longest, like quarter to quarter, to keep building this thing, and especially building this destination. Like I think you've experienced this. You've definitely gotten people to come over from, because they know you from external social channels, but you've gotten a ton of subscribers from right in the app and right in the feed. And we're trying to make that thing go. And I think the thing more than anything the investment allows us to do is like, oh, we can plan a year ahead, 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead, to be like, how do we make this thing as like significant and big and powerful as possible? And how do we look at competition like YouTube? Like YouTube is the competition for the size and impact we want, and the investment helps us think in that way.
Incredible. What do you think it is that is working for Substack versus say like a Patreon, YouTube, like not talking shit, just like what would be your guys' competitive angle to prospective artists?
Yeah. So the pitch I make, which I've been making all week, is like, the biggest differentiator for Substack versus any other platform is that you can do whatever you want in any medium on a business that you own in full. You completely own it. You keep 90% of your subscription revenue. Otherwise, it's free to use. And it's plugged into one of the most powerful growth engines on the internet. There's the feed and the app, but then there's also these like collaborative tools where you like, you know, if you and I went live through the Substack app, all of my subscribers get notified we're going live. You get directly in front of them in this frictionless environment in which they can just subscribe to you. And it's cool because the biggest challenge for any creative person, whether you're a writer, you're a director, you're a podcaster, is distribution. Like it's the same question for this podcast, right? You're like, okay, we know there are people out here who would love to listen to this podcast, who would love to pay to be a part of this community for this podcast, but we need to reach them. And without Substack, the answers are, how do we tweak our like thumbnail and headline on the YouTube algorithm so that it hits? Usually you have to be kind of like loud and bold or like constructive in a way that's maybe not true to your voice to do that. How do we hack SEO optimizations? How do we figure out what's happening with the Twitter algorithm this week? And on Substack, the biggest difference is that our discovery tools in our feed are designed to drive subscriptions. That's all the algorithm is designed to do. So it inherently rewards quality. Like this show will do well in the Substack feed if people watch it and then subscribe to you because it's good. If they're like, well, you know, Austin was actually your worst guest, so we're not subscribing, it won't do well. And that's what gets rewarded in a system where that's what gets rewarded. People like there's different winners in a very cool way. A thing I tell people a lot is like, go look at the Substack leaderboards. On the leaderboards for any category, you'll see rankings by annual revenue. And there's no way you could tell me anyone on those leaderboards aren't really fucking good at what they do.
Yeah, I agree.
true.
I love the leaderboard, and I love that you do the rising leaderboards now. And what's really interesting is, and we talk about this with our producer Chris all the time, because he sends us the articles of like Joe Budden on Patreon, right?
Get that 20 mil.
Yeah, and for people who are mainly podcasters, they seem to do really well on Patreon. I got into Substack because my thing is that I am a writer.
Yeah.
And I missed Blogspot and I wanted a place to publish essays. And I do think the Substack audience still rewards writers more than anything, but you are growing. And I think that's what creators need from Substack is like more people who are used to watching pods and video on Substack.
Yeah, I think the best way I would think about it right now, and the most exciting thing about Substack is that you can watch this change and evolve like every day. Like it's going to be in a totally different place. What's actually working in the app in 6 months, given the amount of like inventory and consumer density that's growing. But the way that it's working right now, more than anything, is that video, especially lo-fi, intimate, accessible video where it feels like you're having a FaceTime with someone. That's why the app-based live tool works so well. What it does more than anything is it drives free subscriptions. It gets people to be like, I want to be attached to this. I want to give you my email address. I want to make it so that every time you post, I get alerted to it. And then it also drives people further down the funnel to be more likely to pay when you post that like really sick paywalled essay, which is probably a better like paid conversion driver than a long form video post that's the top of funnel. And it's like the paid subscription growth is a full funnel journey that I think it would help a lot of creators to see it that way, rather than I think a thing a lot of creators do is they think of like everything's the bottom of the funnel. It's like either converted or it didn't. And I'm thinking that way. That's also a product of the stats you see operating that way. It's pretty rare for a creator to see in their stats like a full funnel journey, but that's how we're seeing video work more than anything.
So let me ask you a question. And I think the viewers, people who are like looking to get into the business would be curious. Do you think our strategy is sound? We give people the pod for free, hoping that they subscribe and follow, and then the essays get paywalled. Do you think that is a good strategy?
Yes, I would. In almost every case, I think video, and especially collaborative video, should be free. It's a great growth tool. I do think if you wanted to like go live and do an AMA and be like paid subscribers only paid subscribers can ask questions. This is between me and you. Again, it's like we're having a FaceTime. That works really well. The other reality of paid subscriptions more than anything is that people pay at scale because they want to be connected to you and the thing you're building. It's not to unlock individual pieces of content. You don't get to 6 figures a year in subscription revenue because someone's like, I wanted to unlock that one thing. It's a little different. You're talking about like, there's people that do like day trading tips on Substack. That's different. But like for culture stuff, it's because you've built, because you're someone people want to be attached to and your community around it. Again, I think of like Emily and Feed Me. People are paying because Feed Me is really good, but they're also paying for that chat, for that comment space to like engage with Emily. And so I would think of it that way. And then I would think, what are your paid subscription drivers? Also, it's like, there's a reality here that with you, it's just like, here's my top 100 movie list. Here's where I want to eat. Like people do convert for rec culture. That is definitely a part of it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm always trying to get him to do like TikToks and whatever, but I do feel like it's a cool thing where it could just like live on, and it doesn't have to be corny. Like I do think there is something corny about TikTok where that Substack doesn't have. Like if you go live on Substack, because it's this group of people that really are showing up for you, and they're invested in you, and they want to see what you have to say, and it doesn't have to be so performative. On Substack, it really just feels like you're like kicking it with your homies.
Yeah, and that's what gets, again, because of the way the algorithm is set up, the thing that we don't reward that every other platform rewards is this behavior. When you're doing this, when you're scrolling through ads, we're like, oh, you don't like the content. We're not going to show it anymore. Like, we're like,
that's cool.
We're like, the great thing about the way Substack's working now is you post a long form video, we send short form clips into the feed. And if the algorithm sees that users are like watching the short form clip and then clicking through to watch the long form video and then subscribing, we're like, oh, send more people that clip. Send more people who are into food in New York that clip so that you get rewarded for it.
Yeah, I do a lot of reading on Substack.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to have a good algorithm, I was very selective about the people I follow and read. And what's funny, you got sent to me and I was like, perfect. So I started reading it. And like, I get sent so much phenomenal literature and essay writing on Substack that it's kind of where I get think piece news now.
Yeah. There's also like really good restaurant criticism coming from people who would otherwise be traditionally gatekept. There's like, I forget her name, but the bar director at Le Veau d'Or is now like really letting it rip on Substack. And it's like really, really good. My friend Kay, who runs wine at Anajuk Thai and Baby Bistro, who's like really smart about wine, is like, here's my recs, here's my list. I'm just going to let it go here. And it's funny, I discovered both of those. These are like people I know through the feed. I was like, why didn't anyone tell me you were launching?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the feed is really, really great. I
Yeah.
mean, I found like Jay Lee that way. I found you that way. And I will just become homies with people who I think the writing's cool.
Yeah.
You know, like I message people or I'll like things, and there's actually a community on there. And I think the other strength that Substack has that I could not believe people could have access to for so cheap is like, if you want to be a writer, you can subscribe to Juno Diaz for $8.
Crazy.
And that man is giving you the sauce of like how to technically be a writer.
It's really good. Juno, George Saunders is on there being like how to write. And there's
Otessa
stuff too, like
Moshfegh,
Otessa. And I, on my end, a thing I use all the time is like, it would be impossible for me to do my job without these like AI supercharging tools like Granola and Claude and Cursor or whatever. And it's like, oh, I have someone like Lenny here to pay to be able to just like get the information straight from the source in a way I wouldn't be able to otherwise. And it's like, this isn't my world, but I can go straight to the expert and find it.
Yeah. And I do think that there is a natural gatekeeping at Substack because it is originally a writer-based app. You have to be able to write. And like writing is much more difficult, I think, than just video.
Yeah.
Like talking into the void.
I think the thing I'd say, especially as we grow, is like I think there's undeniably a degree to which that's true right now. I think the through line that will continue as we grow is that you have to be able to say to like make sense of the world to people. That's like the through line we say. And there's actually a lot of people on Substack starting to do that with video. Acosta is a good example. He's making sense of the world through video. And he's doing it. I think when people do that, they do that in a way that's like, oh, this feels like an essay, even if I'm speaking it out loud, right? It's like, it's the same skill, even if it only happens on video. And I'm hopeful that like, you know, I one thing I would love to see is like, have you seen Eddington yet from Ari Aster?
Oh no, I haven't seen any.
So I would love I think it makes a lot of sense for like, if Ari wants to come like explain in more depth what's happening in the film, like Substack is the perfect place for this like complex story about how tech and AI is like breaking people's brains, you know? And he could do that in essay form, or he could do it in video form or audio form.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a like competitor to the Reddit AMA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. And then I also just feel like it has been very fun to watch brands try to like migrate to Substack.
You're kind of a part of one, right? With
Yeah,
places?
yeah. And like, you know, I do the places one and I really love it. Like
it's a really smart strategy. When people ask me when they're like, oh, what should we do with brands? I'm like, places, the dudes at Blackbird Labs have a really good setup where they're working with voicey talent to put their like platform first in a way that I think is really working.
Yeah, the reason why the Places partnership is literally my favorite partnership I've ever had with art and commerce, besides my partnership with Chris Jackson at One World Books that did Fresh Off the Boat with me, is the owner of Places, Daniel, is like, he's very opinionated in the like brainstorming phase, but once we have decided on what the thing is, he does not give many notes. You know, he is like, I committed to this vision and I trust this artist, you, Eddie, and the other writers you're bringing. I'm going to let you execute what you told me you would.
Yeah.
And as long as I do what I said I would, there's never notes. And like, I think that's what brands have to do. They got to be like Daniel, because some brands I've seen come on there and it's like brand voice. Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? We're new to Substack. And I'm just like, dead. You're dead on impact.
You are, for a few reasons. And like, it was reported during the Series C announcement for Substack that we're going to start experimenting more with brand partnerships and advertising. That's still very much like a thing we're scoping out and experimenting with. But my advice, and the thing I think will work, is like, this only works if you give creative control to the talent you're working with within, you know, obviously some guidelines that you've like worked through with them. Because one big reason why, again, it goes back to like, what is the algorithm going to reward? If it is set up to reward subscriptions, then a brand coming from a perspective of probably a little bit of like risk aversion and like, what are we used to doing, is going to post from the branded account and a branded voice. And they're going to get crushed by you. They're going to get crushed by Casey Lewis. They're going to get crushed by Rachel Carton, who people want to engage with at a higher rate.
Yeah. I analogize everything to parenting now. It's like if you're a brand and you want to start a Substack, find the artist that represents the voice of what you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then just apply trust and patience.
And pay them.
Yeah. And pay them. Yeah.
That part.
Yeah. I'm taken care of very well.
Yeah,
Very
and
happy there.
that's one reason why we're, there's two kind of inevitabilities of getting into it. One, there's a lot of very good, meaningful money for creators that should be realized in this space. The other thing is that, as you said, it's happening. Like, it's happening on the platform. It's coming. As the people kind of like, as stewards of this platform, we have to have a hand on the wheel of how it's going to go. So it's good for everyone, you know?
Yeah, I feel like Instagram and TikTok to a lesser extent, but Instagram was very easy for brands to migrate to.
Yeah.
It just became like a board that you threw up your advertisements on that were already like somewhere else, right? It was very easy to like have a brand placement on Instagram. And I think that's why Instagram so quickly just deteriorated, right? TikTok, it's a little harder for brands. They need to create things, but like, you know, I think Substack is the most difficult for brands to crack. And I like that.
You need it's a different model, right? And like in a, like you think of like a big like risk averse brand where there's like 8 different like approval metrics and stuff. To do something brand new you've never done before that has risk attached to it, that's one reason why there aren't as many success examples yet, but they're coming.
I love it. This has been fantastic. We've gone way over. I didn't even know this is incredible conversation.
this is great.
We'll do part 2, NBA only.
Yes, part 2.
I'll let you guys
Also,
do that.
behind
I'll
the
let you guys
paywall,
do
all
that.
my secrets from ESPN.
Natasha's on vacation. We're doing the NBA only pod.
Beautiful. That will be my vacation week. I love it.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Thank
Well,
you
this was
so
fun.
much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah,
You're all
of
the
course.
fucking
Thank you for
best.
coming.
Of course.